Hello and welcome to the Quarantine Master of Unlocking podcast. I'm Logan. I'd say across the table from me is Jason and Caleb, but you're on the screen with me, so hi.
I'm in Wall Market.
You are in Walmart. That is true. And Jason's in his basement.
You should
Excellent.
stop
So am
sharing your
I.
screen so that we can go bigger.
Oh, so sorry. I didn't realize I could. But I had to play a soundboard thing. That was what I was all here for. I just wanted to play. Oh, it's not even working. Oh, see, now we might as well just even stop
Yeah.
sharing that. Okay.
There
All
we
right.
go. That's better. I'm
Okay. Clipping? Oh yeah, your hood is clipping. That is wild. So we haven't had a real podcast about real things in quite some time. We had our Game of the Generation podcast, but we really haven't had one in 2020 because nothing had been out. And now it's middle of April and things have been out. We've gotten to play some things. And so, yeah, I guess, where do we even want to start? I mean,
Do you guys want to go in sequential order of releases?
Sure.
Because I think have I only played 2 games? I don't know. Caleb's list is probably longer. Caleb, do you
Oh
have
man,
notes?
I was not prepared for this.
I know. We've been more concerned about trying to figure out how to record this podcast remotely that we've like, oh wait, what are we talking about? Oh yeah, we're talking about Zoom backgrounds and playing soundboard things.
Yeah.
I guess if we go back in time, gosh.
Yeah, somebody else pull it up because my computer screen.
I gotta go back.
Recording.
Okay, well, no, actually, I think the thing that was actually is officially came out that was first was DOTA Underlords.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Jason's just gonna keep doing.
There you go. Who needs a soundboard?
Was
when
that-
you got Jason?
Was that soundboard or Jason? Let's play soundboard or Jason. No? Is this a video game podcast?
I think it's a
Is that what
video
we
game
do?
podcast, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
I
Well, we'll
know.
do
I'm sorry.
Ric Flair later. My wife just texted me and she said I ate a bunch of ice cream and then had some toast. YOLO. What were we talking about?
We're talking about games that released. So
Okay, you got a calendar?
Is your wife high right now? Because that sounds like a high thing to do.
I fucking hope so. We need all the medical marijuana in McLean County right now in this home pronto because they canceled our fucking bouncy house. They canceled it. We ordered it and they canceled it. The indoor bouncy house was canceled. Sorry, I haven't talked to adults and I'm wildly off track. Logan, 2020 games came out.
Okay, well, can I go back to? I'll tell you about my experience today. So I drove an hour to go buy a trampoline for my sanity. So
excellent.
Yeah, I had to do a lot of calling around and had to figure a lot of things up, but I've got a giant trampoline coming to keep my kids occupied, which is the same thing you're trying to do.
Go to the trampoline. But whatever you do, don't go to. We're not going to the ER. So if you hurt yourself, you're on your own.
You're right.
Because I ain't going there.
Oh man. Gee whiz. I just went to pull up the video game release thing and it was like, oh yeah, everything that came out the first part of the year. Yeah, no, we're not showing that anymore.
So what I'm doing is I'm saving just while you do that, I'm saving the side quest that I just finished for Final Fantasy VII, and I will dedicate myself to this podcast now after doing that.
Okay, all right. I'm back into, oh wait, actually, there was a huge release that came out at the beginning of the year that you guys we haven't even talked about it. The Kingdom Hearts Remind DLC.
Oh.
That was a huge thing for my life.
You have 3 minutes. Go.
Okay, so
1 minute for each Kingdom Hearts.
Okay, all right. Here's the thing with the Remind.
Wait, is it Xehanort or Xehanort?
Xehanort.
Xehanort?
Xehanort. Yes.
All right, your time's up. Next topic.
Okay. God damn it. Okay, so all right. Here's what I will do this in like a minute. All right. So the DLC, what it does, you guys have finished it, so you at least know what I'm talking about. It takes you to go back and get when Sora disappears and says he's going after Kairi. He does go back and he gets Kairi and he is able to get himself back with her, get everything back, everything the way it goes, and you actually get to fight as every character. So you get to you redo that entire last section in the Keyblade Graveyard, but you play it from those characters' perspectives. So you're playing as Riku, you're playing as uh, Roxas, you're playing as everybody, as Aqua, as Terra, as everybody in the game. There's a really cool section where you actually get to play as Mickey. Like, and you end up doing essentially like the weirdest thing. You do this whole section with Mickey that is like the Metal Gear Solid climb through the radiation chamber thing. Like
Okay.
Mickey is like legit gonna die. He is the last person that is like gonna keep this last Xehanort boss from like you're keeping Xehanort from Sora and Kairi so that they can complete this final thing so that Sora and Kairi can come back. And so Mickey is like the last bastion of hope, just like you're walking like really, really slow with your Keyblade, and you just gotta like keep fighting, and stuff is coming at you all over the place, but you're just like slowly keeping this one giant laser beam away. It's pretty intense for Mickey Mouse. So there's all that happens, and then you end up getting Kairi back, but the little Final Fantasy Moogle guy, Chirithy, he tells you at the end that because at the very beginning of the DLC, he's like, I don't know if this is going to work. He's like, but you can try. And he ends up getting back, and he's like, the only way that Kairi can come back is if you have to sacrifice yourself. So Sora's spirit is now gone. Kairi's back, but Sora is gone, long gone. And
so Kingdom Hearts 4.
So of course I got the secret ending because I did every single thing I possibly could. So you wake up in what is essentially like a Final Fantasy city. Like it looks like Midgar, like it is, there's lights everywhere, like, and you look like Cloud. Like you essentially you're a lot older, and then you also see Riku is there. Like Riku has found his way to you. But then there's this third character who is up on a building, and it's actually the character, you remember that weird section in the Toy Story world where there was a commercial for a video game called Verum Rex?
Oh yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that is that character is Verum Rex, which if you know your Square history, Tetsuya Nomura, who is the creator and the director on Kingdom Hearts 3, was supposed to have made Final Fantasy Versus 13. Verum Rex is the character from Final Fantasy Versus 13. So now these entire things, everything is crossed over. And so that is what the secret movie is essentially that. And then there's this whole other thing at the end too, where you have to do like all of these crazy boss fights that are a million times harder than anything in the game against all of the members of Organization 13. And the bosses fights take like 10 to 15 minutes apiece, and they're next to impossible. Some of them are. Like, so there's that whole thing.
Are you going to do them?
I have 9 of the 13 defeated, and I've got 4 left, and I can't beat them. I've tried my hardest.
Do you have all of your resources?
I have upgraded my full Ultima weapon. I have done everything I possibly can. It's just that hard.
No matter the difficulty?
No matter the difficulty. There is no difficulty for that. It is a set difficulty. You can't play it on easy. You can't play it on hard. That's the difficulty.
Have you looked to YouTube?
I definitely have, and it's pinpoint execution in the game that doesn't have a lot of pinpoint execution.
Yeah.
So the only way to overcome that is practice, right?
And I was working on that, and then games started coming out, and I was like, I'll come back to it. It's always going to be there.
Well, if you've seen all of that story, Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, Kingdom Hearts.
I just need to have how on the scale of, we'll get to some DLC that I played since we last talked, but on the scale of Kingdom Hearts, God, this is
shit craziness.
Stupid. No, not. I'm trying to be kind. Okay.
Okay.
Jesus. on the scale of importance,
Uh-huh.
as far as this piece of DLC in the overall batshit story,
Mhm.
where is this in importance? 'Cause
Uh,
it sounds important to me, but I am a novice
Well, it
so
would
you are the
be,
master.
it's important to set up whatever's next, right?
it is it's important to set up whatever's next, but it's also that secret movie. Do you guys remember, but this would have been way back in Kingdom Hearts 1,
Yeah,
that when
yeah.
you beat the game, you beat the game.
Mhm.
You and Kyrie are standing on that the like weird little plane thing. She ends up disappearing on the beach, and you disappear off to the other thing, and that was it. That was pretty much the end of Kingdom Hearts 1. But there was that secret movie where there was the whole thing with like where Sora was in the hood and he was running up the side of the building and all the rain. Do you guys remember that at all?
Yep.
Oh,
That was
yes.
yeah.
Yes,
So
I do.
that's what this is. I mean, it's the secret ending to something, which that's what teed up Kingdom Hearts 2 with the whole thing of Roxas having the two keyblades and him looking just like
Mhm.
you and everything else. So yeah, it is probably Kingdom Hearts 4. And Nomura is probably going to use some assets and some of the story plot that he had planned for Final Fantasy Versus 13 to start including in here, so I guess the question will be how much of where Kingdom Hearts 3 was a lot of Disney and very little Square, does that mean we're going to go the other direction and get more Square and less Disney?
Are they running out of
I
Disney
mean,
property?
when you look at all the not well, I shouldn't say mobile games, but the handheld games and everything else, they've hit every property. And
That's what I'm.
this was the first time they used Pixar properties, but I mean, beyond Toy Story and Monsters Inc. and there's really not a whole lot else they can do. They've hit on all the stuff without rehashing all of them. They'd
What
have
about the
to.
really old stuff?
Well, I don't think they want to bring Song of the South in, but
Oh God. Yeah.
they've used within the older games. So like when I say older games, the handheld games, the DS games, they brought a lot of that stuff in. The PSP games, they hit on Cinderella. They did Snow White. They did a
Those
lot
were
of
the
that
two I
stuff.
was gonna ask
Yeah,
about.
yeah.
Like
So
if you've done
yeah.
50s Disney already.
hmm Yeah, they've done all that. So I think the next logical step is to probably go in more that direction.
Well, we already had this conversation once, but I'm kind of excited about that. If that's the way they go, I think that might be
Yeah, I mean,
something I would have more interest in. But that's just me. The reason why I shook my head earlier and asked you that question is
mm.
the like like they don't care where they put their major story beats. Like
No,
whether
No.
it's DLC, a PSP game that is now I know like critical
A game
going
that was
into
only on Japanese cell phones.
really which are you exaggerating or
No, I'm
did
not
that happen?
exaggerating. That actually happened.
yeah,
The cutscenes from it are in one of the collection packs, but there are
mhm,
some important things that happened in a game that was only made for cell phones in Japan.
yeah.
Right.
And they've got two different story directions they can go, and one of them is based on that cell phone game, and the other is based on this Verum Rex Final Fantasy Versus 13 thing.
Yeah.
So I don't know which direction they're going to go. If they, I mean, it took them 16 years to make this game. Who knows what the hell they're going to do next, if anything? Because Nomura is also dedicated to Final Fantasy VII.
Hey,
Yeah,
okay. Segue.
what are
No.
what are
I
the
know,
we'll
right?
get there.
Mhm.
What are what was I gonna say? Sorry, what are I can't remember what I was gonna say. Sorry.
I don't know. It's fine.
I
No,
was gonna ask you a question about the future of Kingdom Hearts. What was I gonna say?
I have no idea.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
I got it. I found it.
Mm.
What did it sell like? Do we know how well it sold?
I think it sold
Like,
pretty well. With the DLC, I know, but I'm pretty sure the regular game sold pretty well, and it's actually now on Game Pass. It
oh,
was yeah, they
Vanilla
did
KH3 is?
Vanilla KH3 is on Game Pass. It came right as the Xbox DLC came out, so it was late February they put it on Game Pass.
That's really smart.
Oh yeah,
So that was about 13 months.
that's a good
that it
way
was on shelves.
to spin that they were late, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
smart. You're right.
So
Wow,
yeah, they did a big push for it. I follow, the social media stuff with that and everything else. They were like, oh yeah, like DLC is now available for Xbox. Hey, and you can get the game free on Game Pass right now. So come, do this and spend $20 on the DLC. So
How much confidence do you have that 4 will happen in a timely manner?
in a
Like, do you
timely
think-
manner?
Well, that's what I'm asking is like, we are in the middle of, Caleb just said it, like we are in the middle of like a huge revenue generator for
Mhm.
Square, like unlike they've done in a long time. And
Yeah.
so
Square's had within the last 14 months 2 huge games for them. I mean, that's
Should we place bets on this? Which will come out first, Kingdom Hearts 4 or Final Fantasy VII Part 2?
I have a
oh,
pretty strong reaction to that.
I think it's gonna be Final Fantasy VII Part 2 in a
Really?
heartbeat.
I
Oh,
bet
yeah.
they could finish Final Fantasy before
Really?
they go back to
Okay.
Kingdom Hearts.
I think they
Be-
will.
because and I know it sold. That's why I asked you, Logan. But everything I'm reading about Final Fantasy VII, like since where we at? This is tomorrow will be the release a week ago. This is Thursday, and everything I'm reading is like it's like their Square's best seller ever. So
Yeah.
like for people that did play it, people that didn't play it, like people are downloading this game digitally because they're at home and like there's like people are spending money on this game. And so I wonder if I don't know, like if you're the boss or you're the shareholders or you're whoever at Square that has to make decisions, will they say, no, you go do the thing that's going to make money instead of this thing that has, I don't want to call it niche, but has a sort of a smaller following, right? That is very passionate, Kingdom Hearts fans. So I just wonder if push comes to shove, they go with the thing that makes more money.
All right, the clipping is driving me crazy here, so give me one
Of
sec.
your background.
Yeah, it's just
It's driving
bad.
that man nuts.
Yeah, it
Yar.
is. So I'm also realizing that the first time that we're on camera is the when I had to give myself a haircut.
Oh no.
So-
I guess I did think about the fact that your hair is looking, pretty good for considering.
Well, thank you. The back
I'm not
is
shaving or
probably
cutting
not.
my hair.
The
Who are you gonna see?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so just for example, this for how well Kingdom Hearts sold, it was the number 8 selling game last year. It was the highest selling Kingdom Hearts game of all time, so of all of the Kingdom Hearts games.
It's pretty good.
And the estimates are that it sold 5 million.
It's pretty good.
So it shipped it sold over 1 million copies in Japan alone in the first week.
Wow.
And so that makes me wonder, like, what is more mainstream, like what is Final Fantasy VII going to do here and there? I mean, it's got to do humongous numbers.
Oh, I
Both
would venture to guess 10 probably.
Oh man. That's why like I can't imagine that if one thing is so lucrative that I don't know. Maybe they can do both. Maybe.
I don't know. And I wonder if are they going to have to build a new engine? What would they do? Because it's going to have to cross generations now.
They've I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe not. I like Kingdom Hearts 3 and Persona 5 is my 10th favorite game of all time. So, and it was built for the PS3 and I played it on PS4, so I shouldn't talk like that matters, but
yeah,
I would like to see them make a game for a console instead of one for a previous generation, then maybe even the other generation and then the final generation it came out on, because that Hercules stuff was, who knows when those original assets were made.
Yeah, it was rough. Anywho, So I guess next game, going past unless I could talk Kingdom Hearts all day, but I know you guys are ready to move on.
Um, I have one thing that is DLC related.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
I
Before
finally
we.
got the I
Mhm,
finally got the white whale. The
mhm.
Witcher 3 is out of my life forever. I have played every quest available in that game,
Did that have an hour
including
count?
the DLC. It didn't.
Oh man, that sucks.
I think that between between the main campaign and both pieces of DLC, I probably spent over 150 hours on it. I bet.
Mm.
Um, the and the reason why I asked you is this is kind of one and the same, but the reason why I asked you, Logan, about
Mhm.
how important or where the Kingdom Hearts 3 DLC ranks is because I think that the final expansion for The Witcher 3 is the best thing in The Witcher 3.
Hmm.
Like, including the main storyline. The main storyline is very strong, but the Blood and Wine story is...
That's on my bucket list. I want to play that at some point. Can
I,
you
I,
and you can just start from and play that, right? You don't have to like import a save or
you'll level
anything,
in.
right? Okay.
If you need to, it'll appropriately level you in. Yeah.
Because I
I
have
can't
no
say
idea where, like
where your
where my
save
character
is.
was, and yep.
So
I
with
can't.
those DLCs, like how long? Like just one of the DLCs. How long? What were they? I mean, it seems like they were
So
pretty
they're
hefty.
drastically different.
Mm.
Hearts of Stone is the first one, and it is 10 hours,
Okay.
and it is a story within The Witcher 3's original world map.
Hmm.
There's different there's different locations that you go to with different maps, but it is mostly in the original content of the game. And then you start Blood and Wine, and it is an entirely new region that's opened up. And it's if you do everything, it's 50, 60 hours. If you do everything, I mean,
Wow.
it's an entire game. Like, it is not DLC. It is an entire game. I mean, it's built on the back of The Witcher 3, but Caleb, I can't recommend it highly enough.
You
If
know what?
you've
That also
already
makes
played
me
3,
really excited for Cyberpunk. If they're able to churn that out and as being their DLC to be that high quality, then what's a main game gonna look like next? You know? You have the
Sorry.
soundboard going on.
I thought it was just going to say super duper, but it was I didn't realize that I was just testing it. It does work. Nice to know.
Yep.
So just in case I need it for something later,
Yeah.
I'll be ready. Okay. All right. Continue. Sorry.
I don't have much to say about it. It's a 5-year-old game at this point,
Oh gosh,
but I'm
it is
glad.
5 years old.
2015. I I'm glad I bought the Game of the Year edition or whatever and played all of that eventually. And I think that without this first part of the year being so slow, who knows if I ever would have finished it. But I'm so very glad I did. And where this game is for me historically has not changed, um, because I was already in love enough with the regular concept, but it just has left such a good taste in my mouth. And I would say, to Caleb's point, Cyberpunk is why I decided to get through it, because I knew that eventually when the next CD Projekt thing came out, I probably wasn't going to be able to go back to that. And there's no good reason other than I know me. Like, that's who I am. And so I wouldn't have been able to go back and play it after Cyberpunk came out. So I did it now. And I don't think I've ever played DLC like that. That is a whole game. I just, and it was, I can't remember what they retailed for originally, but I want to say it was like $20. So like a $20 expansion that is
Yeah, I
60
think that
hours of
one
story
was
content. Man.
I think that one was 20 and the other one was 10. That's how they did
Okay,
it.
that lines up. Okay, that makes good fiscal proposition sense, because coming into it not knowing what their costs, like when the Hearts of Stone final thing comes up, I'm like, are you sure this is over? Because that was, it's 10 hours, but not what I expected. And then the Blood and Wine map opens up, and I'm like, I'm never gonna finish this. I'm never gonna finish it. But the early part of this year was so slow. Logan played Kingdom Hearts 3 again.
Sure did.
There was just there was time to do things. So I feel like I used my time wisely there and played some Mortal Kombat 11. But you guys already know how I feel about that. That's it for me. I just wanted to get the old thing out of the way.
The other thing that I really don't have too much to say about that I spent a lot of time early this year playing was Underlords.
Yeah.
Is that out?
Yeah,
it's officially out.
Yeah, season 1 is out now. Season 1 is pretty decent. If you buy the battle pass, which is what, is it $4? Something like that?
I think it was $4 or $5. It wasn't very expensive.
Yeah, it's not much. And you get a whole, it's called a city crawl. It's just this big map with a whole bunch of different objectives on it. Some of them are puzzles. So they give you like a certain amount of gold that you can spend on units or like a restriction on it or something. Logan, you're not going to the bathroom, are you?
Nope. I had to grab my power cord.
Okay, just making sure.
No, it's all safe. Where did this come from? Staple.
But I really like the puzzles a lot. Some of the objective-based ones are either like way too easy or way too grindy. They're kind of all over the place there. So it's kind of mixed, but for $4 or whatever, it's totally worth buying if you're into that game.
And you pretty much just get cosmetics out of everything. So it's like, oh yeah, you get a new profile picture or a new banner or different things like that, which, and whatever. It's kind of,
I mean, they're not going to do anything gameplay wise because then it'd break the balance.
It would break the game. So. Yeah. So I was still entertained by it. That's for sure. But I've found that I played a lot of it when it first came out there, and then I've really slowed down on it in the last few weeks.
Yeah. Well, stuff has come out in the past few weeks. So.
Right. That's true. Yeah. So.
And the other thing that was really weird to me is if you finish everything in the city crawl, like literally nothing happens. It's just, you don't even get like a box that says congratulations or anything. It's just over. It's just, it's complete now. Okay.
Like you just wait for the next battle pass, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
Which who knows when that'll be. I'm only at like level 40 or something out of 100 on that battle pass.
Oh, really?
So there's no way I ever get to 100 on that. That would be a lot of grinding.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Did you buy this, Caleb?
What's that?
Or is it still free?
No, it's the battle pass is like $4. You can still play you can still play the game like in versus mode or whatever for free. And there's no restrictions on that. But if you want the single player mode, and then you also get a bunch of cosmetics that you unlock as part of the battle pass. But you can just play for free.
And even at that, some of the objectives within the city crawl are, you can do them within regular multiplayer. So it'll be like you need to deal X amount of damage with this specific character or character class, and you can do that either against bots on the hardest difficulty, or you can do it against humans. So you can use parts of that, and you can do a couple of those at once usually.
Yeah.
So after that,
we had a big lull after that. I remember.
Yeah. I think it was 2 or 3 weeks, and then we ended up with Ori. I think the next thing. I'm just looking through here, and I'm going, nothing. I guess unless did anybody play Call of Duty Warzone?
Nope.
I played this tutorial.
Yeah.
That's it.
There you go.
I'm sure it's fine. You just pick your spots, I guess.
So okay, well I guess we'll do Ori next. So I finished it. I really like the first game, and I have the same exact feelings about this one. I like it a lot. They added a lot of really cool mechanics to it.
Okay, I was actually just going to ask that because I'm probably about 2.5 hours in, and I haven't seen anything that wasn't in the first game yet.
So
but that does change.
Oh yeah. Okay. So about 4 hours in, probably, you'll start to fill out this tree that like your left like your left trigger, where you can start assigning different things to those to your X, Y, and B buttons,
Mhm.
and you're going to need to swap those out a bunch. Like
Oh,
there will be
okay.
things that sometimes it's like, oh yeah, you're going to learn this new ability on this in this section of the map, and you're going to use this a ton, and to kind of really master it out, and then you're going to go to another section of the map where you're going to find that you can't do anything there, and you're going to have to go to a completely other section of the map to find that ability to go and do that. And once you start using all these different abilities, and then as you start to build all of them up, then you start stringing them together to once you start to build and string all those different types of abilities together and figure out what you need to do to beat different bosses or traverse different areas. And because there's a bunch of sections where there's I don't know what other to call it other than like a chase scene where you've got this big boss coming at you, and you've got to just keep moving, or otherwise like either the scenery is going to get you, or the bird is going to ultimately end up getting you, and you've got to just keep moving and keep moving and keep moving and figuring out those different ways. And they ultimately end up only being about like a 60-second sequence, but it'll probably take you 10 minutes to do it because you've got to master how to do all of those different ways. So it's that type of brutal platforming that and getting it right, that it's like you'll get so mad doing it, but then once you master it, it's just like, oh thank God,
Yeah.
like I got through this. And it's got a really great story in it. I mean, and the Ori, from a story standpoint, is no one really has a voice for the most part. Everything is always conveyed through this, like weird giant voice thing, and that it was like, here's the tiniest little bit of text, but the visual storytelling they do in that game with everything is so well done. It's I really I would rave about that game. It's just and how they convey emotion, and how those backgrounds and everything, how that game looks is just incredible. I understand now why it kind of took a little bit longer to finish, because there are sections of that game where it's like they had to make such perfect little jumps and like areas that you could just barely reach, that the level design of those things had to have taken hours of meticulous design just to try to calculate out.
Yeah, I've noticed
So,
that already just in the
mhm.
beginning parts. There's sections where it's like you can kind of almost make it there with certain abilities, but then once you get
Yep.
a new ability, you can definitely get there easily.
Yeah.
Um,
So there's a lot of that.
I'm curious to see if speedrunners will find ways to do that without getting all the abilities.
There's achievements in that game for beating the game on hard without dying once.
Eh, yeah,
Like
no thanks.
yeah, no, thank you. I played that on normal, and I'm pretty sure the last I went and looked at my death count, it was somewhere in the 400 range. was it was pretty bad. So, but I play that game kind of, I guess, a little hardcore of just like, well, I'm just going to keep dying on this until I figure this out, and I don't know. But
Jason, I know you said you started it, but did you get very far?
I'm like an hour and a half.
Okay.
So
yeah,
not very far. How many hours am I looking at?
10 to 12 probably. It's a
Okay.
decently long game. Like it's yeah, there were times I was like, man, this thing's still going. Like okay, like, and because I think you don't start going for the wisps until probably about 5 hours in.
Okay.
So yeah, once you figure out the will of the wisps and what happens to them, and
Yes.
wisps. But yeah, it's real solid game. So when this whole, I guess, once essentially you guys finish Final Fantasy, is we'll probably be in another lull again, because we've already heard The Last of Us has been delayed, and I think we'll be in another little bit of a standstill for a while. So
Yep.
Yeah, I can't imagine not hopefully not being able to find time for it
right,
this year,
yeah.
because the way things are
Hmm.
looking could be pretty slow on the new game front. So if that indeed is the case, then I will go back. I just am
Hmm.
captivated by another thing.
Oh, as well you should be.
So
I don't.
I will
I'm not, no. Don't put down. I was like, yeah. Don't put down Final
I
Fantasy.
can't.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
even if
would
somebody
never
told
expect
me
anyone
to,
to.
you know what? I guess if I'm missing a scorpion skin, and if that became available, I would probably stop to get
What if they came out with a scorpion skin that was just, instead of his yellow mask, it was like the it was an N95 mask?
I mean, that's a thing I would probably go.
Okay, just check. I mean, I'm actually surprised they haven't done that yet, but
you never know. They're it's a weird. NetherRealm's a weird place.
That's what I mean. They're a weird place. So anyway, I hope you guys end up getting some time to go back and play that. I think
I will. I think I'll make time for that.
Okay. Next is Doom, I guess. Is that where we're at? Is Doom Eternal?
Real quick before you go to Doom.
Okay. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I played like 2-3 hours of Animal Crossing. I think it's not for me. It's not for me at all. I don't like that game.
Did you like previous Animal Crossings?
No, are you okay, Caleb?
This is the first one that I played.
He's like up. Caleb's all the way. This is all the way up in the kid.
Right? You're over here on my screen. You look. Are you sure you're okay?
Well, and I know exactly what you guys are going to respond with when I say this, but it's chores the video game.
So it's Stardew Valley.
That's exactly what I thought you were going to say.
Wait,
I don't know
why.
COVID.
He has
know.
COVID.
Yeah, maybe.
He's sick.
Yeah,
he's Logan. He's dying. He's not.
Oh, okay. Well, let's
himself.
Ooh,
somebody help that man.
Is there? Wait. Oh, since Jason loves Stardew Valley so much, should we have him play Animal Crossing before you get rid of this thing?
Maybe
to see if it is truly chores the video game.
I
kind of want to play it because it seems to be this cultural thing that has penetrated. Like, my wife knows what Animal Crossing is. Like, I'm hearing about it on sports radio shows. People think it's a phone game. You know, like, it has penetrated all, and maybe it's because everybody's at home. I don't know, but it has penetrated other cultural touchstones in my life, and it makes me wonder if I should be playing this.
You know how is because Chrissy Teigen played it.
Yeah.
And Chrissy Teigen is like the social media queen for white suburban housewives. So that's why.
It just didn't hook me at all in the time I played it, and it felt really slow, and like you have to, in Stardew Valley, you could, if you needed like, okay, so I need 12 of these things. So I'm going to go to bed tonight. And then in the morning I can go get another one. And then I can go back to bed, and you can just keep playing Stardew Valley. Animal Crossing is all real time. So I was like, okay, I have half of the things I need, but I'm not going to be able to get the other half until literally tomorrow, like tomorrow real time. I was like, I don't like that. I just want to do it right now. I don't want to put the game down for an entire day. That's just not the way I play video games. I don't check in on stuff. I play stuff in big chunks. So I think that's probably my biggest complaint about it. And I've never played an Animal Crossing before, so I see all like this.
They are, I think. So I did the same thing when I was in the GameCube era. When that Animal Crossing came out, everybody was like, "This game's so great, you should check this out." So dumb me went and bought it, and I was like, "This game is trash. Like, why would I want to do this?" Like, I was exactly for that thing. I was like, I'm not going to do chores in a video game like this. If I need to go plant something and do something, I'll plant it in real life. Like, this is yeah.
But anyway, we don't have to talk about that, but I just want to mention it before we went into Doom, because that's probably a longer conversation.
I will. Caleb, did you own that digitally?
No, I do have a physical copy of that. If you want to grab it from me at some point. Logan's already got half of the stuff in my apartment at his place.
I do.
Now, so.
I've been borrowing everything of Caleb's. I have his VR. I have some puzzles. What else? Oh, I have your Simpsons game that my daughter just started playing.
You had to grab a cable for your monitor one day.
Oh, I did have to grab a cable for a monitor. Yeah. So it's been I've been just, so today I was like, oh hey, I was like, is there anything of mine that you would need?
Oh yeah.
And he was like, oh,
DoorDash that man a pizza or something.
I know. So he was like, oh, actually, do you have some weights? I was like, I do. So I brought him over some weights.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Very
I'm like,
good.
I need to do something in here. I'm I need to get something going, get the blood flowing in my body a little bit.
Oh, and by the way, Jason, did you know Caleb had a treadmill?
In the
Like,
basement?
yeah,
Yeah.
that was my reaction.
Since when?
It's relatively new, probably like
Okay.
November, October,
Okay.
November.
So I didn't see it when we watched Face Off down
No,
there.
that was a
Yeah.
while ago.
Okay.
I was like, last time I was in your basement, we watched Face Off and Lucha Underground.
Man, Caleb, I might social distance my way to your basement if I need to. If it's gonna snow.
I know.
Yeah, but then Saturday it's supposed to be 60 again.
Yeah, it should be better, hopefully. I ran 4 miles today because I'm desperate.
Oh,
There's-
that's the other thing is you would not want to run on this treadmill. It is definitely a walking treadmill.
Okay.
Ah,
All right. Well,
It's very
all right
narrow, like very narrow.
got it.
It was,
Got it.
I think,
Yep.
$200 if that tells you anything.
You have to be a supreme gamer to navigate this
Yes,
treadmill.
yes.
Mhm. All right. Oh gosh. So yeah, we gonna get in the Doom discussion.
Yeah.
Let's talk
Um,
Doom.
Did we all finish?
Have we
Doom?
all? I think so.
Yeah.
Are we all finished? I finished Doom. Yeah, we've all finished Doom. Yeah.
Doom Eternal.
Eternal. Yes. I did. Does anyone know the Eternal? Well, their reason for that? Did they like?
I
Was
had
it there
no
ever?
idea what was going on in the story at all. No clue.
Nope.
What
There was the
what
con
does-
maker.
What does Sam Hayden say at the end? Your fight is eternal.
Or it was like sin is eternal or something like that because that you
Says
fought that
something
sin
about that.
thing.
Something about like no matter what happens, we'll. It's basically like no matter what, we'll always make Doom games. Like, okay,
so
fine, sure.
like the whole thing of this game, like when they promoted it was like, oh, it's hell on earth. You didn't really spend a lot of time on earth. And like that last level you spent that was earth. Like you were running through buildings and you were like, I want more of that. Give me more of that. Give me an area where I'm running around like a children's park and there's demons playing on a slide and I got to shoot demons off. That's where I was kind of like, I'm just rehashing old stuff, like from like we're going to Mars, we're going to all this space area and stuff, and I was just kind of like, okay, well, yeah, I'm playing more Doom. Oh, and you threw a bunch of really shitty platforming mechanics into here. Thanks.
I actually kind of enjoyed the platforming, to be
Really?
honest. I know
Oh,
everybody.
God, I hated it.
I know everybody kind of gives it flack, but I kind of actually liked it.
I felt like it just wasn't consistent enough, but then that was me coming off of Ori, which is like that game is a platformer. To go from Ori to a first-person shooter platformer that just really didn't do that great. Like I just didn't find a lot of it to one either work consistently or two was necessary. That's my only other thing.
Yeah.
Like I felt like it was there just because it was like, oh hey, we threw this mechanic in there. I guess like I never felt like it needed it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I would probably agree with that, but I did have fun with it. And the combat, I think, was really fun. I think at the beginning, they kind of overwhelmed you with a whole lot of systems and different options and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But once you got the hang of all of that and what everything was meant for, I think it was really fun. And that's kind of what kept the game going for me, was those sections.
Yeah, I got into a rhythm after a while of like, okay, it's like, all right, start off, flame the what do you call them? The easy guys. Like, why can't I
Oh,
think of
yeah,
what they're
the
called?
fodder.
Fodder. Yeah, like it was just like flame the fodder guys, get some armor, go in, start cleaning up a few other dudes, snipe some, snipe the guys with the rocket things on their heads and the big fat guys. What are those getting called? I remembered last week what I remember what their names were last week, but now I can't remember what they are. But then the big fat guys with the guns, it was just like, all right, shoot that off, shoot those things off, and it just ended up getting in a rhythm of things after a while. But I don't know, Jason, what are your thoughts? You've been quiet.
And I'm more with Caleb on the platforming thing.
Okay.
I do see I got some value out of the platforming stuff, especially from like a puzzle solving perspective. I also thought, I don't know, it's just weird. I thought it was pretty tight. So I just I don't know, and I don't know what the internet's consensus on this is. So
I don't either.
I I just I thought it was pretty, especially as you dashed into those walls and it auto grabbed. Like I don't know, like
Sometimes if you
I
went in at a
felt
weird angle, though, it didn't really
fair.
work. But
That was what I think the issue I had sometimes is it just didn't work or um what was this like that in the end part where I had those big red things that you went through like sometimes it would just send me in a completely wrong direction. It's just like thanks.
yeah, I never had that problem.
Yeah.
The only one that I thought was difficult was the one where you had to like it was like 3 jumping platforms and then you had to shoot the door before it opened so you could get
Yes.
through. That
I
was tough.
at one point
Challenging. Yeah.
at one point I remember saying I'm not gonna finish Doom. I said it out loud. I was just like I'm just not gonna finish this. Like this is gonna be the death of me is this stupid part.
Yeah.
I think it maybe took me 3 or 4 times, but I was just like I didn't know what to do with it because those things kept falling too. Like it was like you had when you jumped on that last one, that last platform would fall. So I was trying to I had to look around for it forever to find the target to actually shoot. But yeah, but yeah, I agree with you too that there wasn't a whole lot of story, or at least the story that was there. Maybe I just didn't get out of it what I should have, but for what could have, I just think maybe there was a lot of potential there that was untapped in a story for Hell on Earth when it was very much focused on this con maker person and killing these 3 priests. And I felt like there wasn't really a whole lot of talk about that sin thing. And then all of a sudden it just appeared.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Like, I don't know.
I I was I like Doom Eternal. I was I wouldn't say that uh, I'm not in love with it, but I like it a lot. And I was going into near the end, especially in those platforming sequences. So I was like, this feels filler, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
this isn't why I come to Doom, even though I didn't have those negative experiences that you had with it, or at least was in my opinion. I didn't feel like the controls weren't tight enough. I thought they were pretty tight for me. But the final boss, there's something like super satisfying about that, and it was the scale of it I really enjoyed.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree.
it
I
very
like that.
like
Yeah.
it brings the chaos, and it was a very appropriate end to that game because it really the encounters are just here's your big bad for the moment, and then eventually you're going to fight 25 of these, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you get the Marauder, and Logan and I were talking about the Marauder. I struggled with the Marauder
So did I.
the first time I played the Marauder, and then like, oh my God, there's 2 Marauders and all these other regular enemies, and I'm feeling overwhelmed. And then you figure out how to juggle the scenario and move around and find pickups and um,
I
farm what you
could
need to farm, and I did enjoy that. But then they find a way at the end to bring this scale that they've not brought yet, and this level of chaos that they haven't brought yet. Like it is just raining fire and explosions, and there's just shit going on everywhere. And it's being very generous with ammo and the
Oh,
what's the
yeah.
sword
oh,
called?
you get tons of that.
Yeah,
Like
I forget what it's called, but like, yeah, just
is it the
like the one hit
Doombringer
kill
or
thing.
I don't remember now.
I don't remember. The big red
But
sword of death.
it's giving you that weapon which you can literally saw through huge enemies in one slice, and you're just
I
running around. There's explosions everywhere, and it's giving you what you need, and it almost kind of like is for being unforgiving the whole time. It is unforgiving in that moment for the sake of it being more cinematic. May not be the right word, but
Grandiose, I think might be.
sure, immersive,
I
grandiose,
Yeah.
like
Mhm.
chaotic, crazy.
I could be wrong on this, but I think that when you fight the quote unquote boss monsters for the first time, I think they're harder the first time than they are when you see them later. Or maybe it's just because I was better at the game as we went on, but they seemed way easier when they weren't like the boss version.
I would say that Marauder, especially, I think took less shots to kill than later in the game than it did that first encounter.
Okay.
I agree. I think it was like I felt like it would take like 6 or 7, super shotgun shots to kill him later in the game, where the first time around it was like 12.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't. I don't know, Caleb. Like I don't know the answer to that because I do feel like in my experience I was getting better at it. At the same time, though, you're right. It's like, did that take less ammo? I don't know. I'd be curious.
The
to know
Marauder's
what
the only
real-
one I could compare that to, though. I can't think
Which
of
one
any
was
of
the
the
Marauder,
other
the one
ones.
with the shield that you had to issue with the energy? Okay. Yeah.
No, the Marauder's the
no,
one with the where
no.
it would flash green right before it attacked you.
Oh yeah, that thing. Okay.
He's the guy with the dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, the dog
Oh,
thing.
the
Yeah, because they were
dog.
later in the game. I found that I was like, he wasn't even getting the dog out. Like I was attacking him before he would ever, and I'd kill him before the dog ever came out. So that was like, oh yeah, like obviously. And then that first time you encounter him, it's like 3 or 4 times he gets that dog out. So who
Where
let
did you?
those dogs out?
Who let those little mouths go? Who? What platform did you play that on, Caleb?
PC. It looks really
pretty
nice.
good on there. I would
I'm sure it
imagine.
did.
Yeah,
We
because
both
it
played
looks
on a 1X. Yeah. So
looks pretty good on a console. But I will always be impressed with Doom 2016.
hmm
At that time, I played it on a standard Xbox 1080, and I still don't know how they did it. I still don't know how they did it. Like
hmm
it's just crazy how they squeezed the performance out of that system, made that
And when
happen.
you go to install it too, it's only like 30 gigs. Like you look at like a
Yeah.
Call of Duty that's like, oh, this is 100 gigs. Like, and Doom is what? Like it's only 30? Like it just doesn't seem right.
And it runs at 60. Like it
Right.
just
That's
kind of,
still got
I
4K
don't know.
assets, HDR assets. Like I don't know.
It's one of those
I think
legendary like id Software things where, like they've optimized stuff. And
mhm,
it's funny how years later, like that still translates into the Bethesda Doom that we get now.
right. The I think I still prefer 2016 to this Doom 2016. Just because I still remember parts of that story from Doom 2016, and yet I can barely tell you anything that happened in a game I just played 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like that to me is kind of like there's that I think for a game that shouldn't really have a lot of story to it, I guess from for what it is, I still care about the story in it and what I'm actually doing, because there was times that I just felt like, okay, like I could probably have taken 4 hours of that game and thrown it in the trash and not missed any of it,
Right. Yeah.
because there were sections of that game that you just was like, okay, well, here I'm fighting the same group of enemies over and over and over again, and for what purpose? I don't know. So
Anything else on Doom?
don't take it really in the like that I'm saying that it was a bad game either. Like I still had fun playing it.
Right.
I
Yeah.
think it just had some missed opportunities that they could have either put more story into it or tightened it up a little bit and shrunk it down to a little more like 8 hours instead of 12 to 13 or whatever it was.
Yeah, I had fun playing it all the way through, but I don't think it's a game that's going to stick with me. When people
Yeah.
bring it up, I'll be like, "Oh yeah, that was a thing."
Yeah,
Mhm.
I think with Doom Eternal, there's Logan and I talked about this a little bit, but I think the challenge when you're making Doom Eternal is that you have this very loyal player base that plays Doom. They just play it over and over and over on the hardest difficulty, and they min-max it and they speedrun it, and you've got that master you're trying to serve, but also making it approachable to new consumers and people that casually play like us.
Mhm.
And I don't think that we're I don't think that we're the target necessarily for
That's fair.
Doom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they give a shit what we think of Doom Eternal, because I think they care about the people that are going to play it over and over and over, and try to min-max those encounters on the hardest difficulty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people that really enjoy playing Doom, those encounters that could just play it and play it and play it and play it. And so, Logan, when you say what for, I think that's what for. I think it's for those people to play those encounters over and over and over again. So I didn't. Was that, who was that?
I don't know.
So that's is that the governor?
It could be. I don't know.
Oh, so that's I think that's who they're after. I would also be surprised if this is the last Doom we see for a while. Maybe that team will move on to something else, because
I wonder how well it sold. I guess that would be the other thing. I mean, it came out at let's put it this way. I guess it came out at a time where you could say that, all right, all the quarantine stuff happened, but I think Animal Crossing coming out the same day showed that it could still sell. So if I don't know how well it sold or how well it's doing, I think it reviewed okay.
Reviews for that are strong, aren't they? For Eternal?
I think they're still okay. I think they're high 80s. Yeah, I don't know if they were in the 90s, but I think that it's still. I just don't know how well it sold. I have no idea. So,
the reason why I say that is twofold. Who knows how well it sold? But the tone that 2016 hit, and kind of what I think what you're talking about a little bit, or at least as in my opinion, is you can't do that again without the same level of, like, the same novel accomplishment.
Right, because I think it came out and everybody was like, oh, like,
this is so self-aware. It's funny. The guy's name is Samuel Hayden. like Satan. Like, all of that was pretty great. And then this was really just more of that, right?
Yeah, but it was, I felt like there were parts that were pulled back a little bit from some of that. And like all the Con Maker stuff was very serious.
Yeah, you're right.
And
pretty earnest.
Like they put a lot of the quote unquote jokes like in the collectibles. And it wasn't, I don't know. I don't know if I wanted it to be a little more in your face. Like I definitely didn't want it to go the Duke Nukem route, but
nobody wants that.
No, nobody wants that. But
shake it, baby.
I don't.
Shake
it. Yeah, there was just some, like you said.
My parents are dead.
There was some charm. Maybe it was. There was just some charm missing, or maybe it just was. It was like that Doom 2016 thing of like, oh, this is different. Like this is cool. Like, but then.
I don't think they can do that again, is what I'm saying.
No,
I'm
trying to think of even something to compare this to.
You're doomed if you do. You're doomed if you don't.
Yeah, I know. My daughter called them. When she saw them, I was like, "Oh, we're fighting demons," and she was like, "What game is this called? Doom?" And she's like, "Well, shouldn't they be called Doomins?" I was like,
"She's not wrong."
She's not wrong. So, and whenever I'd be playing the game, she'd come down and she'd be like, "You're fighting some Doomins." Doomins. But yeah, I was trying to think of a game like where like the first game hit and it was like really great, like new novel thing, and then the second one comes out and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, this is kind of more of the same, but not so great, not as good as the first. Like I'm trying to think of what that would be. I mean, there's a lot of movies like that. I'm trying to think of a game like. What about like the Shadow of Mordor games? Like, didn't the second one kind of come out like it's like, oh yeah, like you did this really cool thing in the first one, and then the second one comes out and it's like, oh well, this is basically the same game, but you threw a bunch of microtransactions in here too, so no thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, I
don't know. Yeah, there's lots of games like that. Yeah.
Can we take a quick break? I just want to check something real quick, and then I'll come right back. Okay.
Okay.
We're back. We're recording again. We're all set.
Okay.
Everything is good. I had a moment of panic, but we are good. Our recording is fine.
Okay, good to know.
Put
All right.
that chicken fat back in the chicken.
That was well timed.
I'm working on my soundboard quality here. I don't know. I've got to find. The problem is I'm just finding people. I need like some good sound effects. There we go. There's sound effects. This could be bad. Yeah, we don't. This could be real bad.
What's next on the list?
Well,
we almost caught up.
Yeah. So I think we're ready for. Are we ready for Final Fantasy?
I played about maybe an hour of Persona 5 Royal.
Oh, that's right. That came out.
Just started it, so I don't have much to say about it yet. It changes the story pretty drastically in that first hour, though.
Oh, really?
So, yep. There's a brand new character that shows up in the first hour.
Okay. Jason, are you ever going to play this?
Go on.
Well, I'm wondering. I just want to know, should he just spoil this and tell us what's going to happen? Because I don't think I'm ever going to play this.
Oh, I have no idea. There was a character that showed up. You know how in the beginning of that game you start in the casino,
yeah,
and then you get the flashback and all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There's another phantom thief that shows up in the casino as you're escaping, and she helps you escape. And that did not happen in the original game.
Do you have any idea give me a percentage of how much of Royal is new?
So there's there's that character, which I'm pretty sure is playable at some point. And then there's the original game was 2 semesters of school. And this one has a 3rd semester. So if you extrapolate that out, roughly a 1/3 more content.
Logan, where is Persona 5 on your all-time list?
It's top 10. I don't remember exactly what number off the top of my head, but it's top 10.
Mine's literally number 10.
I'd have to pull up my list.
Every time I look at my list, it moves up a couple spots.
Oh, gee.
Because it's the greatest thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's incredible.
I just don't know if I can bring myself to put that many hours back in it again. I just don't have time.
I know.
Here's where I stopped, Logan, or where I paused is that if games don't come out this year, then there's a real chance I could play it. If there's nothing,
I think stuff's still going to come out. I'm not too concerned about. I think we might have some delays, but I don't think it's going to be that. Let's put it this way. I don't know if I've got a delay in me enough for 100 hours again.
I do need one of you to buy it, though, because they gave me the Steelbook edition, and I hate Steelbooks.
Oh, man. This is what happened last time.
I know.
So I have the Steelbook on my shelf for you.
Yeah, I still have my Steelbook because I wanted it.
I like the Steelbook. I mean, I would like to have both, I guess, at some point, but I am glad that in my Final Fantasy VII Collector's Edition that came in, it came with a Steelbook and the regular game.
Oh, mine was
Game
only
case.
the regular game, and for some reason my cover art looks really bad on it, and I don't know if that's just
Really?
the cover art in general or if I just got like a bad print or something.
Wait,
I don't
hold
know.
on. Yours
Excuse
is
me.
deluxe, Caleb? You have deluxe as well, or
No,
is
just
it
the
just
regular
standard?
one. Yeah, standard.
I mean,
But I don't know. It just looks kind of like, yeah, it looks like that, except for I can't really tell through the screen, but it's like, I don't know. It's just like the colors are not the best on there. I'll have to show you when we get a chance.
like here, I'll pull up my, this is my Steelbook of it with the Sephiroth on fire background there. And then on the back of it, it's got the,
I don't know if it's going to show up through the screen or not, but let me grab it. real
Meteor.
quick.
yeah, I don't know.
Well, I'll grab mine too.
It's just,
Logan, do a sing and dance real quick, or a song and dance, or ask a question. Well, let me see. Oh,
here, I'll test some, I'm going to test some sound effects. Okay.
Kobe.
Sure. We got some,
I forgot that it's on the completed shelf because I completed this.
you've already finished Final Fantasy VII?
Yeah, it's not going to show up through this webcam.
Oh, gee
But
whiz.
I don't know. It's like it's kind of bubbly, and then the logo like doesn't look like it printed right. I don't know. I'll just show you in person sometime. But
Yeah, I think Oh geez, I'm dropping stuff. Bubbly and the logo didn't print right. Let's put it this way. I think the DPIs could be a little bit better.
Maybe I'm just being too picky on it.
No, if I'm looking at mine up close, I would say that the DPI could be a little bit better on
Okay.
it. Just to be, I mean, but you're looking like I was looking up close, yeah.
Yeah, Jason,
I agree.
You missed it because you had your headset off, but I did finish this last night.
It's Jason's eyes bugged out of his head. He's like, what? Okay. Well, think about it. He doesn't have kids at home.
Right.
And you're working 20 hours a week?
There's not a whole lot for me to do for work right now. I know. I'm sorry, Jason, because I know there is a lot for you to do. I know you didn't get a break from it, but for me personally, like I'm kind of scraping for stuff to do work related. So.
And yeah, my work is completely batshit bonkers.
Yeah.
So.
The reason why I reacted that way is just because I don't know, there's so many questions I want to ask you, but I can't. Because I have to see it for myself. I do want to know two things.
Uh-huh.
How long did it take you, and did you do everything that you wanted to do?
Almost. Well, I did all the side quests. There was one, what are they called? Battle Intel or whatever that Chadley gives you. There's one of those I didn't do because it's literally like it's master every form of green materia, the magic materia.
That's just grinding then,
that's
right?
That's a lot of grinding. I think I have like 8 or 9 of them done. I think there's 12, something like that. But that's the only one of those I didn't do. I did all the rest of those. I think there's one that actually, I think there's actually another one that opens up if you do that one too. So maybe I'm 2 off of doing that. But other than that, I did everything I could. There was one mini game in particular that I skipped because it's a pain in the ass.
Okay.
Like, there's a trophy for it, and I'm like, no, never going to get this trophy.
But does it seem like you can go back and do it though?
Yeah.
Is everything you can go back and do? Okay.
After you finish the game, this is not a spoiler. After you finish the game, it gives you a chapter select. So you can go back and do whatever. Nothing is missable as far as trophies go. And then you can also restart the game. When you restart the game, you can pick which difficulty you want. They add hard mode on it. But I think you can pick your difficulty on, I have to check that actually, but I do know that you, in the new game plus or whatever, your experience is, I think, tripled and your AP is doubled, if I remember right, something like that. So that grinding goes a lot faster on your new game plus.
Where did you guys feel like I guess Jason, you may not be that far yet, but where do you feel like you've had to grind at all? Like at what point did you feel that you needed to do that?
The only time that I really did was because I wanted to get the weapon skills. I wanted all of those. So I would switch to a weapon and then go purposely try to find some grinding spots to learn those abilities. But you don't have to ever. There's not a whole lot there's a couple of tough bosses, but nothing that's going to like be a hard wall or anything.
Okay. So I just didn't wonder. I was just wondering, I was like, okay, is there like a point in time where you're like, oh, this boss is like a little leveled up for me, too high up for me, like if you were mainlining it or something?
The only time that happened to me was it was an optional boss. So I won't spoil what it was, but the only time where
that's fine. Now
was an optional boss.
Yeah, I'm still very early in the game. I literally just got it in the mail yesterday. I think because I ordered the deluxe edition through Amazon, it just took a little bit longer to come in for whatever reason. But yeah, so I just got on the train in chapter 2. So like I had met Aerith in the street, and then like you run around, you're trying to get to the train station, and then you just like jump on the train tracks, and that's where I'm at.
You basically played the demo.
And that's why I didn't play the demo.
Yeah. The demo is literally just that.
So I was like, yeah, I'm not going to play the demo because it's just going to be parts of the game that I'm going to end up playing. And if it wasn't going to carry over to the main game, then I was like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Because basically you had to play that twice then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that stinks.
I was actually trying to pace this out and make it last long. But
Just couldn't do it.
it was not possible. At a certain point, I was just like, nope, I got to see how they handle this, and I got to see how they handle this part, and I got to see what happens with this thing, because I know everything that's coming.
See, I know nothing that's coming.
Yeah,
so,
that's exciting to me is to hear this from your perspective too.
So it was like 10:15 last night when I got to that part, and I was just like, do I play this anymore or do I go to bed? And I was just like, I've got a really crappy day for work tomorrow. I better just go to bed. So I need some time to play this. I just don't know when I'm going to get some time to play it. I was going to play it tonight, but you guys were like, no, let's talk.
I forgot to answer your other question. I was right at 40 hours.
Okay.
So to provide perspective, I am at chapter 8, and I'm 22 hours in.
I think you're going to be longer than me then.
Okay.
But I'm guessing that you're going to have some pause time in there that I didn't, because you have.
I probably do.
Yeah.
I bet I do. So we'll see. We'll see what that hour count is, but I don't know. 22 seems like a stretch for what I've actually played of it. So,
yeah, I can't say enough good things about this game. It has no, like, with Square's track record, it has no right to be as good as it is. I can't believe they actually pulled this off. And this is coming from Final Fantasy VII. Is you're talking about your top games of all time. That is my number one. And for them to just nail everything, you can really tell that the people that have made this game were fans of Final Fantasy VII. You can tell that they put in the attention to detail. They didn't take shortcuts. In fact, they added a whole bunch of extra layers on top of what was already there to kind of help explain stuff. And they did a really, really excellent job with it.
Yeah, I think that's I'm glad to hear that, because I think, yeah, like you said, Square has put out a few stinkers over the last couple of years. I mean, obviously you guys have been, we're not as high on Kingdom Hearts as I was. So there's another stinker for you, but it hit every note for me. But like Life is Strange 2 was kind of a big letdown.
Yeah, I forgot about that. That's a good point. Final Fantasy 15 was big letdown for me.
Yeah, I mean, the more I look back on that, and I just, was it Noctis was the main character?
Yeah.
The only thing I really remember from that game was the car and the extremely scantily clad Sid from that game, who was
who they could have called Sydney, but instead
they called her Cindy. I was like, no, call her Sydney, so she's Sid. But like, yeah, I don't know, I guess. But yeah, I mean, just the opening part of this game, like
do you know
incredible.
Like do you know anything? Do you know any like the huge story beats?
I know a character dies.
Okay.
I know all the characters' names.
Okay.
I know that they're essentially like the power plant or whatever is like constantly boring into the earth, or the planet, I should say. It's not Earth.
Yeah.
And that if they keep doing that, it's going to ultimately explode, and they have to stop them from doing that. That's about all I got.
Okay.
So
good. I'm curious to see from a fresh set of eyes if this story actually is good or if it's nostalgia.
So it's pretty, so far it's pretty strict and I shouldn't say strict, but at least follows the original narrative pretty closely.
There's a big section. Well, not a big, I'm trying to think about, there's a big theme in this game that was not in the original at all. And I don't know if you're there yet or not, Jason, so I won't say what I'm talking about yet. But other than that, the main like story beats, they've really stuck to, and actually expanded on quite a bit. This game, like I just said, I played 40 hours of it. In the original game, this would be about 3 or 4 hours. you're actually like the ground that this game covers is very small in the original game. So you get a lot of story that you don't get in the original. You get a lot of character development that you don't get, stuff like that.
So looking at that in comparison from what the rest of the story is for moving forward, do you think that we're looking at like 5 40-hour games, or do you think that they're going to be able to shorten up the rest of the story moving forward?
Man, if they just did this, but for the rest of the game, I would be so happy, because that'd actually be like 9 more games.
Yeah, I don't know.
Obviously we're not getting that, but
no,
I have no idea how they're going to handle it. To this point, like I said, they haven't. There's a couple of times where I was like, okay, they're probably going to take a shortcut here and move this plot point into this section so that they can do kind of 2 things at once. And they didn't do that. So I hope that they continue to not do that. And we get like the full development of every character in every city that you go into and all that kind of stuff. I really hope they stick to that. But if they do, like I said, that's a lot of content for a lot of different games.
Interesting. Yeah.
I don't know I don't know what to add to that, Caleb. That's really well said. It's it's everything that's important about the plot points, but just deeper. There's more there, and it's handled with such care.
Just like I'll throw this out there just because, Jason, you've already been past this point. The character Jessie that you'll meet was barely in the original game, and they do a ton with her in this game. So just keep that in mind as you're doing stuff with Jessie. Just imagine that was like a 4 or 5 scene character from the original.
There's no way, like, it's going to be really interesting, Logan, to have this be your first, like Caleb said, to have this be your first exposure to all of this, because it'll never be what that original thing was, but like, it's amazing, because I think these 2 things will be independent in my mind, Caleb's mind. They're not the same thing, but that doesn't mean that they can't both exist and be independently good, if not great. I hope I feel the same way after I'm done with it that Caleb does, but there will always be my experience with Final Fantasy VII in my formative years that literally made me, I mean, like that is because of Final Fantasy VII. Like, there's no doubt about it. Like, it opened up my mind to things outside of like just a sports game once a year or a fighting game occasionally. Like, I think it was my first like in-depth video game critical thinking, narrative follow, long-winded, it's just experience. Like, it was, and I'll always have that. But I don't know. Now there's this thing that is a remake of something I hold in such high regard, and that question remains the same for me, Caleb. Is it just because I'm so fond of the original and so fond of these characters that I'm just
past the poor storytelling and whatever because of our nostalgia?
I'm a total mark. Like, I'm a total mark for this, and like I said the other day, kind of joking, but I may not be a good compass for this. Like, it could maybe be not as good as I think it is, and I may not be able, honestly, to tell, because I'm too fond of these characters and I'm too fond of the subject matter.
I think the thing that the one thing that makes me think, regardless of my nostalgia for it, I think this would still be a great game even if I didn't have that, is the fact that you can switch to any of the playable characters and play as them, and they all play completely differently, and they're all super fun to play as. So I think even without the story, the character development, all of that stuff, the battle system itself, I think, is really, really solid. And that's obviously completely new. So I think even if I take, all the nostalgia and stuff out, I think this is still a great game for that reason.
Yeah.
Jason, are you, well, I don't know how much option you've had so far, but like what character are you generally doing your battles with?
I haven't had a ton of choice because it's still so linear where I'm at. I think that one thing I didn't understand was that it's critical that you change characters.
Yeah.
And that
definitely.
you engage with them on your own and you take ownership of them. Otherwise, you're going to be cycling to characters and want them to do something, but their ATB gauge isn't there.
Yep.
And so I really enjoy Barrett.
I like Barrett a lot too. He seems to be the one that the internet kind of hates, but I like playing as him a lot.
How could you? But Barrett opens every like.
I think it's because
this is such a unique thing. It's so weird. It's like a Souls game, but it's a turn-based game at the same time. But it's also a little bit of a hack and slash.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much going on. And what I don't understand about that is because if you want Cloud to be successful, then Barrett has to be successful.
Yeah.
Early on in the game, and one opens up the other, because if Cloud is just in there hacking away, like you're toast, you're done, you're finished.
Yeah.
And then you pull out and you use Barrett's ranged attacks and cast stuff, then you cycle Tifa in to do more brawn damage, and Cloud is in the middle. But by the time you come back to Cloud, he's probably got some magic he could cast, or you could heal, or it depends on how you spec Cloud. I don't know. And I think the materia system, 23 years later, I think the materia system is very easy to grasp and still works.
Yeah.
And that's amazing to me.
And there's so many options with it too. Like every time I hear somebody talk about this game and how they approach combat, everybody's doing it differently. And like even like right before this happened, we were talking and you told me you were using the ATB materia, which I never used. But you said that it's critical for you, and I never used it. So like there are a lot of different options on how to handle stuff too. Are you using shortcuts? Because it took me a really long time to figure out that the shortcuts are very important. Like you hold down L1 and square or whatever to do your, It was
I'm making myself learn them.
Yep. It was a long time before I realized that those were actually pretty useful. So I want to make sure to pass that tip along.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to slow my brain down and make myself use them. Logan, you're going to be you're going to be the barometer for us on this, I think. Because Caleb, I don't know, like, because I'm going to be so...
The Kingdom Hearts guy's going to be a barometer?
It's got a lot of... The combat is kind of Kingdom Hearts-esque.
I know.
In a lot of ways, so... I know that's not the whole reson that you're into Kingdom Hearts, but...
No, that's probably actually the farthest reason.
Yeah.
So far, I felt like I must be doing something wrong, at least to start with, because I feel like I'm having to use a lot of potions.
Oh, you have to use items throughout the entire game, a lot.
Okay. I was like, I do have like 19 of them, so I guess I should be using them.
Yep.
There's just not really a natural way to heal in that game, I guess, other than just using items. Like
there is eventually, but you don't have it yet. There are several ways to get stuff to heal, but regardless of what you do, they give you a huge amount of items because they expect you to use a lot of items. It took me a long time to get used to that too. Because in the original game, you don't have to use items ever.
Well, and then in Kingdom Hearts, I just used the cure spell all the time.
Yeah.
Like I was just constantly, and so like I never used a potion in Kingdom Hearts up until that I started doing that those big crazy boss battle things. That's the only first time I've ever used items in Kingdom Hearts. But Yeah, I'm excited to get into it. I just wish I had more time.
Yeah.
I will get there. I'm probably one of the few people who during this whole thing is, Jason and I are even are a little closer in the same boat too. But it's just like I need time, and I feel like I have even less time now that this whole thing's been going on. As weird as that sounds.
Yeah, it's just, where people are at in their lives independently kind of determines what they're juggling right now. And I'm with you. I've been playing this game. We got to call this soon, but like I've been playing this
10 o'clock.
game way too late at night, way too late. And we have a kid that doesn't sleep, and but it's literally it's all I want to do right now is see this thing to the end. And then I don't know, hope, cross my fingers and hope.
I know. When is part 2? Please don't abandon this project. Please don't.
I feel like there is absolutely no communication about a part 2 of this.
Yeah.
There's not a trailer for part 2. I thought there was. There's not.
I don't know.
I thought there was, but it could be incorrect about that. So
I will look it up here and see if there's Final Fantasy.
It does
remake part 2.
After the credits roll. It does say to be continued. So hopefully they stick to that.
Okay, GameSpot. Let's see what they've got to say. Basically, let's see. It sounds like they know pretty much nothing.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this game is good. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. But yeah, I don't think I can be trusted. I don't think I can be fair, because if anyone ever says anything negative about this game ever, I think they're just a fucking idiot. You can't be.
Game sucks.
There he goes. Yeah, he's outed himself once again. It's just a complete dumbass.
Anywho.
I'm glad you liked it, Caleb. I'm glad you're good. We'll talk about it more in detail in the future. I'm really excited to finish it.
One thing that's really interesting is because this game was actually voice acted, I'm hearing words for the first time that I had only read before. So
yeah.
So I always thought it was Mako, but apparently it's Mako.
And it's 100% Gil. It's not Jill. It's Gil.
It's Gil. Yeah.
So all those people who have been saying it's a GIF and not a GIF. It's a GIF. Gil it's a G. It's hard G.
And Aerith introduces herself and clears up her name right away, and it's funny because she's like, "Hi, my name's Aerith." No, yes, it's Aerith. Like she says that to Cloud. She's like, just to be clear, my name's Aerith, and it's
what
just
did people
little
think
stuff
it
like
was?
that. Aries.
Yeah, in the original game, it ended with an S, not a TH, because in Japan they have there's no like letter to represent an S sound. Everything is a TH. I could have that backwards actually.
I think it's the other way around. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So so they have that character in there, and then the translator mistranslated it to an S instead of a TH. So it's
interesting.
It is a known error in the original game, so they corrected it for this one. The one that gets me, and they haven't actually. Hopefully this does not spoil anything. They haven't actually said this name yet in the remake, but do you get the character Jason, the cat that rides the giant? What would you say that character's name is? You know what I'm talking about?
No, maybe not. You're talking about a party character?
My Discord icon. Does that help?
Yeah, Kate Seth.
Yeah, so apparently that is pronounced Ket-Shi.
Ket-Shi?
Yeah. It's the Gaelic word for fairy cat.
Sure.
So we've been saying Kate Sith
I think,
all these years.
We've been saying Kate Sith completely wrong. So I'm really curious if how they're actually going to pronounce that one. But
not only that, but when they introduce that character, it's going to be like the most batshit character design ever. That's what's great about this is like, it was a combination of these like fantastical characters and humans. And later on, it's going to get wild.
Yep.
Like, there's going to be these highly detailed people, and it's going to be standing next to Ket Sheath or whatever you just said. It's going to be like, yeah, let's go. And then it's going to be like, look at that thing over there. Isn't that weird?
Yep. I'm excited to talk to you guys once you play more of it.
There's so much.
There's some stuff in there that I really want to talk about, but I'll hold off for now. There is I'll be curious if you have the same reaction, but there is a really awesome cameo at the end of one of the chapters. It's like a very brief 5-second scene where they show a character, and I was like, oh wow, I didn't expect that at all.
Is it Orin? Tell me it's Orin. It's fucking Orin, isn't it? Badass. That's great. Yep, I nailed it. I knew it. I knew it. Yep.
They're crossing games now.
Logan's over there, fingers crossed. Waka.
Go play some blitzball.
Dodgeball. Wait, dodgeball and blitzball. Jeez.
Blitzball, get it right.
Yeah, no kidding. All right, boys, I'm going to bed.
Yeah,
anything else?
A good idea. We played a lot of Halo. That was about the other thing. We were hot and heavy on that for a little bit. That was kind of neat. That's about all.
It's neat.
Comfort food now, man.
It was comfort food for that first couple weeks when there was no games out. So that was, and we got on with a couple friends that we, didn't always talk to, and boy, that fell off hard. We played it like.
I don't think you or I are going to be initiating that anytime soon. I got stuff to do. Yeah, that's for sure.
I kind of have a similar experience with, so my friend has been teaching me how to play Dota a little bit. It's mostly an excuse just to have some human interaction.
Yeah.
But I am not playing against humans ever in that game. We always play against bots.
Bots, yeah.
But he's been kind of teaching me some basics of it as we kind of talk and catch up and stuff. So that's been kind of cool. But who knows if that will continue in a post quarantine world.
Yeah, I don't know.
Caleb, one other thing I wanted to, I don't know where I'm at. Do you have like a favorite music from the game that you heard?
Yes. It's actually close to the beginning. The Electric Chocobo remix.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
Of course. You're absurd, but of course. My favorite is the Sector 5 Slums music with when you go to Earth's home. Dude.
That one? Yeah.
Yes, this song, I've been listening to it while we've been recording. It's, oh my God, it's incredible. And that's one thing I know that will resonate with Logan no matter time and place. The music, the Logan's holding up the soundtrack.
Yep.
The music in this game has always been amazing, but the new renditions of it it's just whatever, man. I can't be trusted. Everything I'm going to say about this game is going to be positive. Period. End of story. Sorry.
Nobuo Uematsu knows what he's doing with these Final Fantasy games. That's for sure.
Well, these Final Fantasy games, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
All right.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
I'm going to make myself call it. We've been talking for a little while.
A couple hours now.
More to come on the Final Fantasy chatter, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hoping to get into it soon. So, all right. Sounds good. Talk to you later, guys.
Well, thanks, guys.
See you.
Catch you later.
All right, later.